yo, I'm gonna teach people how to make money from paid surveys. Like, if you want to do this, like, hit me up, let me know. People texting me like, yo, did you get hacked?
Where do I go to start getting money for these surveys? How do I find that?
Check out on my website. No, that's what you. All right, so a couple of websites you can go to. Respondent, they're a big website that hosts a lot of paid surveys. I had someone last year who was pregnant and needed money because obviously you're about to have a baby. Took my program because they're like, yo, obviously I'm pregnant. I don't have the bandwidth to start a business or get another job, but I just need money that I can make like from my computer or my phone. Like, and she wound up making about a little under $8,000 in a year from paid surveys.
So my question to you would be, what am I supposed to be doing to attract a yes for a survey I applied for?
Is fill out your profile on these sites as detailed as possible. These same research companies and these same websites will tell you the same thing, because the whole idea is the more details you put in your profile, that allows the research company to send you more survey opportunities to apply for.
What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite founder and host, Jerlisa Juju Fontaine. I'm a proud product manager turned digital media entrepreneur and community builder with a passion for all things business, innovation, productivity, and of course, digital health. I'm on a life mission to create a world where people can live healthier and financially fulfilling lives, all whilst doing the work that they love. So how does this podcast fit into that? Step into the world of the Very Necessary Decisions podcast, where I interview industry experts, thought leaders, and change makers on the very necessary decisions that they had to make for the sake of their accelerated business and career growth. We take deep dives into their innovative strategies, business models, and more. And don't worry, we aren't sticklers on this side. We make these conversations informative, yet fun and chill. Take a listen.
What's going on, everybody? It is your favorite host, Juju, and I say this all the time, but I'm really excited for our guest today. But let me tell you why I'm really excited. I'm really excited because Seth, the lovely gentleman who's on the screen right now, Seth is probably one of the funniest people you will ever meet in this lifetime. And I do feel bad. I don't normally feel bad about this. I do feel bad today that this is a business podcast, because if it was a different topic, you would get to see a lot more of his funnier side. But it is a business podcast. So today you guys are getting the business, entrepreneurial side of him. But either way, you're going to see this video and you're going to still catch his vibe, catch his gist. But sometimes I feel like for the right person, this probably should have been a pop culture pod, because Seth would have y'all literally weak. Like, I mean weak. Like, there are very few people in this world that you'll like meet in person and you'll feel like, nah, I feel like I knew this person for mad long. Seth is definitely that person that you can meet and within 10 seconds, like, you're like, bro, like, we've been mad cool for 10 years or what? Like, that is literally word for word the type of guy Seth is. So that's why I'm really excited for this podcast. I think his personality radiates through anything that he does. I think that what he does is really interesting, and we'll talk about that in 2 seconds. But I think that overall, like, Seth is just somebody that I think that everybody should want to get next to, because he's just really that dope. So anyway, with that being said, the reason why we have Seth on today is because he's the founder of Surveyplug. And a lot of you are always asking me, like, Juju, I'm a 9-to-5-er, a corporate person, whatever the case may be, but my 9-to-5 income cannot pay for everything. Like, Juju, I'm not gonna lie, I do want that Louis bag sometimes. Or Juju, I don't get paid enough to pay my rent. And whatever the reasons are that you need a little extra money, the cool thing is you can actually do surveys to supplement some of that income. And I don't have the answers to what are the best practices to using these surveys to do that. But what I always promise you all, I'm going to find the person who has the answers. So with that being said, Seth, Mr. Founder of Surveyplug, the Survey King, tell them, who the hell are you?
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was an extensive introduction, but I appreciate it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Seth, the owner of the Surveyplug, an online course teaching you how to make money from your phone and computer from paid surveys and market research. Where do I start? From Harlem, I went to University of Albany, UA. You know the vibes. You know what I'm saying. Worked in city government. No longer working in city government. Running my online course full time now. What else? Noop. Shout out to the bros. UA, from Harlem. And I started my online course teaching people how to make money from paid surveys in November of 2022. So about roughly a year and a half ago, going on 2 years, about that window. So, and I, most importantly, what I tell people is I never, ever, ever had a business prior to this current one. So I'm not like a serial entrepreneur where I went through like 1,000 different businesses or tried different like things. I just simply had knowledge of from my own experience, had a desire to want to put something together and make money on my own time, and had this idea and I put it in motion and I just kept going. And I'm not perfect either. Again, I'm not a serial entrepreneur. This is my first business, but one thing I just kept going. I started this business with no website, no business bank account, like just as like a side hustle. And then it kind of like got out of hand. So I'm like official tissue now. So yeah, that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell.
No, that was perfect. Before we even get into everything about Seth, I think what you said that was really cool about not being a serial entrepreneur is there's different kinds of people that are entrepreneurs, right? When I think of like the top two versions of entrepreneurs, I think about one, the person who just knows in this life, I want to build businesses and I'm going to keep building businesses until something hits.
Right.
And maybe sometimes one hits, but you want even more to hit. So you just never stop. But then I think about this other kind of entrepreneur where sometimes you're just really good at something and you realize that it works for you. And if it works for you and you realize that a lot of other people also might need access to learning how to be good at this thing too, you then realize I don't have to be selfish. I can also educate and teach people how to be good at this thing that can then also give them more income or give whatever satisfaction is that they're looking for as a customer. But in return of doing that, yes, I indeed will make money, because if it doesn't make money, is it really a business?
If it don't make money, it don't make sense.
You get me? So I think that's really
Right.
cool that you mentioned that, because there really are different reasons why people become entrepreneurs. And I don't really believe that one is better than the other, but I do think that there is something very genuine and fruitful about the kind of entrepreneurs who just love something or just know it works for them and realize that I can spread this knowledge with someone else. And it was never just about getting up and saying, I'm on this whole trail of making mad money. I just know that I can help somebody. And while I help them, I can make some money too.
Of course. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's easy to make money when you help people, but as long as you're helping people or solving a problem for people, 95% of the successful businesses on earth are either helping people or helping people solve a problem or making something more convenient for people.
Every single time.
For example, give you a prime example that I always talk about, Uber. Uber doesn't even own any cars. All they do is have a platform that give people jobs and allows them to drive Uber, and also allows you to have a taxi rather, come to your house without you having to go stand on the corner or having to flag one outside.
Yep.
It's just solving a problem. It's not like magical or like brilliant. Not to downplay Uber, but I'm just saying their whole business model is giving people jobs and solving problems for people like you and I.
And if you can do one of those two things, which really is both, then you're gonna win every
Correct.
single chance, almost every single time. Now, what a win looks like for everybody might be a little different. For some people, the win is impact. For some people, the win is absolutely, genuinely revenue. Sometimes it's a mixture of both. But for everybody who's listening, you determine what win in business looks like. It could be generating significant profit, or maybe it's generating just enough profit, whatever just enough looks like for you. So I love that you mentioned that. But before we even go deep into the Surveyplug, one thing I actually did not know is that you were working a government job before.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So before we even get into Seth the entrepreneur, give us some insight into like What was it like working a government job? Like, what was that job?
I worked in city government. I did procurement, which is basically contracts, which basically means I'm handling contracts and business for the city. So when the city does business with outside vendors, suppliers, things like that, I'm conducting the business from A to Z. So from onboarding the vendor to making sure they're paid for the services that they provide for the city. That's what I was doing. So, for example, if PAL did, I don't know, It's My Park Day in Central Park, that's city government property, I would have to make sure, the paperwork is done and vetting the vendor and making sure everything is in place and all liability is held accountable for everybody. So pretty much that in a nutshell.
So, did you love that job?
Uh, it paid the bills. You know what I'm saying? I don't, to be totally honest, I don't think there's ever been a job that I've loved, unfortunately.
Right.
There's people out there who have a job that they're like madly in love about. Go power to them. I was just never fortunate enough to run into a job that was like, I love waking up and giving this person my time. Like, I love waking up and reporting to this person and doing work for this company. Like, I
Nah.
mean, people like what they do, but it's just like, I haven't run into many people who like work for a company and said, I love my job. I can't wait to get there on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has ever said that.
At that.
Right. Nobody has ever said, oh my God, it's Sunday. I can't wait for work on Monday.
Nah, I don't say
Nobody
that.
has ever said
No
that.
job has ever done that for me. I'm not gonna lie. There's certain jobs that I actually did like, but I don't have to say the word is love. Like that. That's a very strong. Like, I like you enough that when I show up, y'all are cool to be around and deal with. But I can't say that when I wake up in the morning, it's one of the first things I look forward to doing in my day either.
Exactly. Like it's stable, it pays the bills, and you're good at it. But it's just like when you say you love something, it's like, yo, I look forward to it. Like I live and die my, you know what I mean? Like loving a job is like, damn, like I'm not working this weekend. I'm sad. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody ever said that. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody ever said, yo, I miss my boss because I'm not working. No.
And if somebody did say that, I really have to wonder, what are you experiencing at your job or through your boss that I have not? Because if y'all are in love, just say that.
Right. Exactly.
Like, let me know what I'm missing, because it's giving there's something extraordinary going on there, and maybe I missed that wave. Like,
right. Exactly. So like it was good. It was stable. Would I ever go back? Opportunity presented them, maybe, but it's just like, like I do like what I'm doing now, and it's just like, yeah, it comes with ups and downs in business, which we'll probably get into later. But like, I've never had a job where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm head over heels. Like I can't wait to go to work.
No, that's fair. So, well, now we can talk about the job that you do love, which is the job that you created for yourself, and that's the
Right.
Surveyplug.
Right.
So you went from doing 9 to 5 city government to now doing Surveyplug full time, which is really interesting because, to go back to what you mentioned during the intro, you've been doing this since November of 2022.
Right. Correct.
And you're already full time. What led to that decision to do this full time?
I had left city government, and then I had got another job, and then that job didn't work out. Was laid off from that job, but at the same time, I'm like, it was kind of like sort of like a blessing in disguise where I got laid off from my job, and then it was like, damn, like, like I still have this business that I can run. Like it's not like the end all be all. Like I can still like run my business. And then at times, I'll be honest, like when I had that job after the city government, it got in the way of my business.
Yeah.
And there were months and times where, I was making more from my business than I was taking home from my job. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, like getting told to do stuff at work and you making certain money outside of work. It's like,
why am I here?
Not even why you're here. It's just like, yo, keep your voice down.
Bring
it down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I had a lot of those moments. And then when I got laid off, it was kind of like, yo, like I could just run my business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I could really like, now that I have my full 9 to 5, I just have to like transfer my energy and my schedule to making sure that I'm working for my business day to day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just me. When you work at a job, you're doing your job. Whereas I have my business, everything is my job. Marketing is my job. Fixing people's problems is my job. Answering emails is a job. Coaching students is my job. Like everything is my job. So it's like a different ball game, so to say. So like I'm still working, kind of like piggyback into what we had that conversation the other day. I'm still like working. It's just not like, 9 to 5, like, and it's not always peaches and cream either. Like, I'm not going to sit on this platform and like lie, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always peaches and cream. Like, it has its ups and downs, but for me, and I'm always going to say for me, the benefits outweigh the cons. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. All
there's
right, so we'll get
always
into
like
that.
room for growth. There's always like opportunities and different things to learn and different ways to like grow your business. Whereas like, in a job, you have to like, work your way up and then get approval and then you got to network. Whereas it's like, I hate the saying, but it's true. Like when you're running a business, it's literally you versus you every day. You don't
Every
hustle
single time.
every
Yes.
single day,
Every single time.
So like,
Every single time.
you don't hustle, you don't eat. You don't post, you don't eat. You don't email, you don't eat. Like you're not learning new things, you don't eat. Whereas it's like, people in your job, they like you. You can show up every day and you go get a check. You know what I mean? Your check is going to be that check. You know what I mean? But like my results and my money comes from the
It's
effort
on
that I
you.
put into my business. It's all me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about that, right? So I want to work in order on this one, right? So we know what the Surveyplug is because you just explained it to us. But why is it necessary? Like, why does anybody need to use the Surveyplug?
So first off, one of the best things about the Surveyplug is you can be anybody pretty much anywhere and want to make money and you're able to do paid surveys. Whereas, other, businesses or other products, you have to have certain qualifications. You got to be a certain demographic. You got to be a certain age. You got to live a certain place. Like pretty much anywhere in the US, you can do paid surveys. So the reason that it works for me is because, as we were talking at the beginning of the call, is I've always been like a people person. So now that I'm this people person and I'm always talking to people, we're in a climate where, totally honest, everybody, if not almost everybody, needs money right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the problem with that is everybody doesn't have the bandwidth, the desire, or capability to run a business. Everybody doesn't have the time to get a second job. Everybody doesn't come from money. So there's a lot of different layers to that one problem of people having money. The solution with paid surveys is that everybody, pretty much anyone 25 to 70 can do paid surveys. My mother is 71 years old and does paid surveys. Like, it's really no, like, obviously you're certain ages and certain locations and certain demographics get more traction and feedback than others, but there isn't anyone in my program, and I've had students from as young as 24 to as old as 63 make money from paid surveys. So there's really no like cap or restriction or capability as long as you have the desire to get on a computer and make money. Which is kind of how I got into the business, which I kind of wanted to talk about as well. So back in 2022, I had got into a car accident and I was out of work. I got in a car accident. I was out of work for about 6 months or so. And I was doing paid surveys because I needed extra money. Like, I'm home. I can't go anywhere. Like, I'm back and forth to doctors and I'm home. Like, I need extra money. So I was doing paid surveys and I went on a stretch of like 3 months where I made like a couple thousand, maybe like 2,500 or 2,200 over the course of 3 months. And they taxed me. So I'm like, one company had taxed me, and I'll get into the process later, but one company had taxed me and they taxed me like money on, they sent me a 1099 form because I had made $700. And I'm like, damn, you're taxing me for $700? Uncle Sam, it's nasty with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So they taxed me on $700 and I'm like, damn. But in my case, I know other course creators and I know other online coaches and people who do other things. So I'm like, yeah, I made, and I have the tweets. I have the receipts. You can go to my page and look at it. I'm like, damn, like I made $2,500 in 3 months. Like, maybe I could teach people this.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a business coach from another business I had thought about starting, but I had never went through. And he was like, Yeah, just teach people it. And I'm like, he's a whole Anthony the Hartrimony. Shout out to him. I don't know. Yeah, he's a whole like multimillionaire. Been on Good Day America, all these other shows, platforms, everything. So him telling me you could teach it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice.
I'll
Yeah,
do
you
it.
did 3,000 people, whatever. Of course you're gonna tell me to go teach something, right? So I'm like, yo, I ain't never taught nobody else. I ain't never been a teacher. I never even had the desire to teach. Like,
Yeah.
how am I just teach people something? So he's like, yo, you're just overthinking it. Like, just do what you do and replicate your results for other people. I'm like, listen, I don't even know how to start a business, brother, man. Like, I ain't got no LLC. I ain't got no EIN. Like, I don't got nothing. Like, I don't. He's like, yo, listen. He's like, yo, I'm going to challenge you. His exact words. He's like, I'm going to challenge you. He's like, yo, get an LLC, get an EIN, get a business bank account, and get a form of payment. I didn't even know what that was. He was like, look into Stripe or look into Squarespace. And he's like, get one of those and accept people's money. And I'm like, all right, I can do all that. Like, everybody in the world got an LLC. Like, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can do all this. He's like, yo, do that in 30 days and come back to me. I did all of it. Went and bought the LLC, EIN, business bank account, Stripe. I'm like, all right, mind you, I'm not working. So this is credit card and vibes, hoping I make it. You know
Absolutely.
Straight up. And no website, nothing. I'm like, all right, like, I'm going to just try this, whatever. So then I go do that. He's like, yo, and I'm going to use you part of the story too. He's like, yo, go on your story and tell people what you're doing. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yo, post on your story like you post all that other dumb shit, like all that singing, all those songs. Tell me straight. He's like, yo, all that goofy shit you be doing and be making people laugh.
Talk about your business now.
Talk about your business now. And I'm like, damn. I felt like the girl who be wilding on the weekends and they just told me to stand up in church. So I'm like, oh, damn.
So like, one day I'm gonna be serious. Got it. Okay.
I'm like, damn. I'm like, nah, he got a point though. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just post this on my story. Again, no Instagram business page, no website. This is just screenshots on my story, black screen with white lettering, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna teach people how to make money from paid surveys. Like, if you want to do this, like, hit me up, let me know. People texting me like, yo, did you get hacked? Like, you posted my hand to God. People text me like, yo, did you get hacked? Your story posted some shit about surveys you can make 500 to 5,000. Like, I'm like, nah, it's for real. That's me. They like, oh, nah, that's for real. Like, all right, cool. So I did that. Again, this is, I have nothing. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a Zoom call. Free Zoom. Again, I don't have money. Free Zoom. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a Zoom call. I'm going to set up a Zoom call. I'm going to tell people, I remember it clear as day. I'm like, I'm going to tell people to come on Zoom Thursday night, 8 o'clock. If you want to hear more information, pull up. Straight like that. I'm putting the link, no page posts, just straight stories, just stories. And people texting me and emailing me like, yo, and I did a free Gmail, boom. I'm posting it. It was a Thursday night, 8 o'clock. I'm like, yo, I don't have no page. I don't have no website. I don't have nothing. Like, people are not going to come to this. Like, people already think I'm getting hacked. People think I'm talking crazy. People think I'm wilding. Like, people are not going to come to this. It was 40 people on Zoom that night. It was 40 people on Zoom. And I'm like, damn. Mind you, again, I've had jobs before. So I just put together a little, like, PowerPoint presentation on my computer of the information that I wanted to give. Yeah. I wasn't trying to make it fly. I wasn't trying to make it like presentable. I was just trying to make it substantial and have it of substance that people could understand, and it was straightforward.
Yeah.
So I'm like literally on Zoom, on a free Zoom, pressing the arrow key on my computer, just going through slides that I had put together. Like little pictures, like little funny stuff, like boom, boom, ISO, boom, and people like following it. Mind you, again, this is the free Zoom. Free Zoom. So if you know anything about the free Zoom cuts off after like 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah. Right?
Not 45 though, just the 40. It's like, come on.
Yeah, 40, right?
Minutes,
cuts off after 40 minutes. So again, this is my first time presenting, and this is just screenshots and people just pulling up because I told them to. People like, yo, like reading through it, asking me questions, all that. And I'm asking questions on the fly, like just going through all of this. Kid you not. At the 37-minute mark, no, maybe 38, the 38-minute mark, my homegirl's like, she types in the message in the box, in the chat box in the Zoom. She's like, yo, Seth, you got 2 minutes. It's about to cut off. Yo, she's like, Seth, you got 2 minutes. It's about to cut off. So I'm like, oh, damn, because this is my first presentation, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I'm like
you're not thinking about that.
Going through all the information, cuts off, middle of the presentation, 40 people. I'm like, damn. Yo, I just blew the bag. I'm like, I'm asking people for money, presenting people this business idea.
And your whole thing shuts off while you're talking to them.
And it shuts off. Shuts off. I'm like, damn. You can't email people and be like, yo, jump back on. You know, it's over. It's over. Thursday at 8 o'clock. You had me for 35 minutes. You should cut off. Buy Zoom and holler at me next month. You know so I'm like, you know what? I got this. I'm like, I'm going to send out an apology email to everybody who joined this call. Everybody who joined this call. I'm like, whether they interested or not, or what they want to hear more, whatever the case may be, I'm going to send an apology email. And I still have it in my emails to this day. I'm like, I sent an apology email. I'm like, listen, it was Thursday night. I want to thank you out of time for even listening. Like, y'all didn't have to listen. Y'all didn't have to come at all. Like, I want to apologize for the mishap. I got a free Zoom. New business owner, hold it down. Like, I want to appreciate y'all for coming out. Like, just listening. Thank you for your time. At the bottom of the email, I said, listen, if you've heard enough and you want to do this and, you know, you trust what I'm saying and you've heard enough and you believe everything and you want to try this, a Stripe link, like a copy and paste Stripe link. No website, no nothing. Like copy and paste. Like, here's my Stripe account. Here's a copy and paste. Like, click this link and pay, and I will set you up. I sent out that email with that apology. $1,500 the next morning. Yeah.
Wait, now I have to come in there, right? Because that story is important for a lot of different reasons. But for the one I want to single out in this moment is a lot of people have an audience that's untapped that they also don't think would be willing to pay for something. Now, in your reality is you are also trying to prep them to, I guess, give them information about this thing that you want them to pay into. But initially, you felt like you failed because you didn't even get to finish the session.
Right. Yeah,
but then in sending that Stripe link, they actually paid. Why do you think the people who paid into that $1,500 paid, even though that happened? Why do you think that happened?
It was a couple of things. One, I will say, I'll be totally honest. Most of those people on that call were my friends.
But some people's friends don't want to pay.
Yeah. Some people's friends don't, but some do. But because they were my friends and I had those existing relationships with people, people knew that I wouldn't wake up and send them a Stripe link and try to like scam them or like do something funny to them. Like, I had that trust from people that I already knew. So people were like, nah, I heard enough. I've actually heard the surveys, but I didn't know how much money you can make. So what I was doing is I also put together an Excel sheet. I collected all the surveys that I did and I showed people the money I made and how much time it took. And
during the session.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
they saw that part. Good.
Yeah. So people were like, oh, like you can make this kind of money. I'm like, yeah, here's my emails of when I got paid for this study. Like, I got paid $300 for 2.5 hours. This study canceled on me. I got paid $275. I got paid $100 for this phone call. Like, so I showed that to everybody. $1,500. When I woke up the next morning and I had $1,500 in the Stripe account, I said, yeah, I just made $1,500 off an idea with no Instagram page, no website, just LLC and vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like I got an LLC and vibes. I'm like, yo, I got to keep doing this. After that $1,500, got my money up, bought the Zoom account. You know,
that's right.
Started the Instagram page,
Yep.
And just was manually like, all right, I got your money. I'm emailing you. Let's set up a time on Zoom. We only got 40 minutes because you know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's sit down and let's go over. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know how to do this.
Yes.
Right? And I'm doing this one-on-one, like an onboarding call.
Yes.
Individually. Like So I had those 3 people, sat them down, walked through everything, taught them everything. And then from those 3 people, I actually learned like what questions they had, so I could
Mm-hmm.
prepare for other people. I also learned like how to make it better so that it was easier to understand for other people. Because I'm like, if
Yeah.
3 people are going to pay me 500 and I don't even got a website, like this might be something. So I had that 1500. And I'm like, yo, I got to really do this. Long story short, December, November and December of 2022, I had 50 students pay me for my program without a website, no website, straight LLC and vibes. Like, if you know
Mm-hmm.
me, just hit me up, DM me, email me, whatever you want. Like, I started the Instagram page, but it got out of hand to the point I was like, I can't sit down with everybody one on one because this is getting crazy. Like,
Right.
2, like, people are like stopping me in parties, like stopping me at happy hour, stopping me in
Oh,
like,
okay.
like
Mm-hmm.
yo, I get paid next week, like save me a spot. And I'm like, yo, I got, yeah, nah, it was like that. It was like that. It was like that. It was like, yo, I get paid next week, like hit me up, like save me a spot. And I'm like, yo, I got you, like don't even worry about it. Like, and people hit me up, and I'm like, all right, I got to get a website, like I got to do this
Yeah.
officially. I got to do this officially. So then I launched my website March 25th of 2023. So like towards, so I took like a 3-month break because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get the website design, like I wanted to set up like email, like I wanted to like do it official. Like I didn't want to just release like nothing crazy. So I'm like,
Right.
I'm gonna take time off, gather, like enjoyed a little bit of my money. I'm not gonna lie, because I made a
Well,
couple.
rightfully so.
Yeah. I was like, yo, I made this money and I ain't had no website. Like, nah, I'm gonna really do this. Like, whatever. So did that. Yeah, so I launched my website March 24th, 2023, and to date, I probably have like close to like 250 students, like who like come to me to learn paid survey. So yeah, I just say that whole story to say like, like I was definitely that same person. If any entrepreneurs are watching this, I was
Mm-hmm.
definitely that same person who like overthought it and said I couldn't do it. But it's just a matter of like how bad you want to do it, like how bad you
Absolutely.
want to like provide a product for people, or how bad you want to like advertise something. So like I've never had a business before. I simply just knew that I had knowledge that was valuable to people. I set it up so that people could understand it, and I actually
Yep.
dumbed it down because I've been doing surveys since my mom put me on the surveys. So I've been doing surveys since like college, like prior to college. Like I've been doing surveys forever, but I knew the tips and tricks that I know that I had to like dumb down for people to understand, because the
No,
average
for sure.
person, doesn't know surveys or doesn't know how to get into surveys. So I made sure that I dumbed it down and I made it black and white for people. And that's really how I got into it. Like it all started with like,
The
me
car
getting in
crash,
me
technically.
getting in a car accident. And then like, yo, like maybe I could teach people this. And my business coach was like, yo, go teach people this. And I was like, yo, I just did it. And now I'm here.
No, but that's a really fire story. But I do want to highlight a couple of things. I think there's multiple things that can be learned from this. One, understand what you're good at, and understand what you're good at to the point that it makes you money.
Hmm.
And then 2, once you acknowledge that I want to turn this thing that I'm good at for myself into a business so it can help other people, the next step is like, where do you go to start turning it into a business? And if you are lucky enough to have that friend that is business savvy, you should go to that person who can give you some business advice and tell you, if you have this idea in your head and you want to turn it into reality, here is the advice that I have for you as your business friend. And now you have a duty to listen. Because a lot of times, people will say, I don't have friends that support me or like give me advice and they're doing all these amazing things. But another part of that is maybe some of you are not listening to that friend when they give you an instruction, right? Like there is something that you need to do and contribute in order for that person to feel like, okay, you're actually listening. Let me keep helping you. I think the good thing is you had that friend. That was step 1. But step 2, that person gave you a timeline and you didn't miss the deadline.
Yeah. He
And
gave me 30 days. He was like, yo, 30
30
days, I'll come back to
days.
you. And
And you
he
got you
gave
got to
me
commit to.
he gave me steps that anybody could do. Like anybody can buy LLC, anybody can get an EIN, anybody can get a business bank account. You can walk into any bank and open a business bank account. Like, and Stripe is online. Like, and we all have friends who are business owners. So it's just like you can ask anybody where do you go to get your website. Like
And
you
that's
and I
that.
was talking about Fever and editing the other day. Like you can ask anybody that. Like, yo, this is a person who does my video. This person who does my emails. Like this person who did my website.
Yep.
Like for example, and I'll give him a shout out.
Say it.
fine wine. The person who throws fine wine, I looked at their website and I'm like, yo, their website is fire. Who does their stuff? I put it on my story. They sent me Dozy. They sent me his information. He did my website. Done. But that's simple stuff that's just right in front of me. I just had like, all right, who does your website? All right, I'm gonna have him do mine. Boom, done.
But wait, also too, right? It's that medium that even allows you to get the answers, right? Like we use social media for play all day to the point of your friend. If you can key and joke on social media, you can use that same tool to ask your same peers who also have serious things going on in their lives. Where are y'all tapped into to get these resources, right? Or where are y'all tapped into to have your website done, your videos made, or whatever the case may be? The same way how you can come on your stories and be singing all day is the same day how you can come on your stories and say, who makes websites? And you literally got your answer a lot sooner than you thought you would. And you got the right answer because the person who actually owns it is the one that made their own website.
Exactly.
You got the right one. You know what I'm saying? Like you really had the right one. And I think that for a lot of us, sometimes the make or break to starting your business is just recognizing that the same platform you spend most of your time on is actually also a business tool for you as well. And that could be your TikTok and that could be your Instagram.
Yeah. So also I watched a video on this, and I think other people have business ideas or things that they can create a business from that they have no idea. So I saw this video, and I can't remember who it was, but the video was basically saying, if there are 3 skills that you have that you can do in your sleep, pick one and teach it to somebody. And it doesn't matter what it is, because trust me, and you probably know this on a personal level, trust me, there are courses on everything. There are courses on everything. Like if you don't know how to do something, there's probably a course on it. So if there's any skill set that anybody can, like, if there's any skill set that that you can teach in your sleep or you can do in your sleep, it's probably a problem for somebody else.
Absolutely.
And the name of the game nowadays is solving problems for other people. That's the quickest way to make money.
Absolutely agree. And also, I want to kind of redirect the conversation a little bit, right? Because you kept mentioning about this thing is not all easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? There are pros and cons to everything that you're building and doing. So what I want to get an idea of is, what are the pros and cons to operating a business in this paid market research space?
My biggest pro, which is very layered, is making money for other people.
Period.
I don't exist, or my business doesn't grow if I don't get results for other people. Like straight up. Like my main focus and main goal, obviously people have to meet me halfway and do their part. But my main focus and my main goal is to make money for other people. So that's the pro. The pro is always to make other people money. Because that leads into referrals, which is a huge part of my business, because people make money and they put their cousin on, or they put their family member on, or they put their friend on. So that's always the pro. And also, like, yeah, it's business. I like making money, but like my biggest joy in the business is like the money that people make and what they do with the money. So like I had someone last year who was pregnant and needed money because obviously you're about to have a baby. And they took my program because they're like, yo, obviously I'm pregnant. I don't have the bandwidth to start a business or get another job, but I just need money that I can make like from my computer or my phone. Like, and she wound up making about little under $8,000 in a year from paid service. And she took that money to help pay for her baby shower. Like I have an email.
Oh, that's a good story. That's a good story.
Yeah. And I have people who take this money and pay off debt, or people who take this money and start businesses, or people who take this money and take trips. I had a student who, unfortunately had abrupt deaths in the family in Chile. The survey money hit. She was allowed to fly to Chile like abruptly. Like it'd be stuff like that. Like I have plenty of success stories. Like they're all over my page. Like I have plenty of success stories, but it's like the more impactful stuff that like keeps me going, where I'm like really helping people like get through hard times, or like pay for certain things, or like, maybe, or just taking care of outside money. Like whatever, is an old saying, like whatever money you make is more than what you have. You know what I'm saying? So It's $50, $100, $200.
You're
It's
happy to
always
have
gonna be
it.
more than what you had. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? That's really like the pro of it. The con, I would say I work in sales. So if you've ever worked in sales, you know sales go up, sales go down. You know, you got people complaining about prices. There's busier seasons than others. You know, everybody wants a discount. Everybody's somebody's man's. You know how it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
especially with something that's benefiting people. Like, that's what I would say the con. But that's anything. You know what
So
I'm
wait,
saying?
let's get into that though. Let's get into that. How do you stand on business when it comes to pricing? For do you stand on business when it comes to pricing?
Yeah, I always stand on business. I always stand on business. I mean, like, of course, I've done favors with people and like discounts here and there, but at the end of the day, people come to me because they know the money they come make. So I make it real simple. Like, I don't charge anything that people can't make. So when my course is normally $600, I charge 600 because people make 600 in a month. And nine times out of 10, people purchase my course because of someone else making money.
Yes.
So half the time when they approach me, they know that I'm not charging anything that they're not going to make because their sister made it or their cousin made it, or like they saw a post with their friend who made like $8,000. So, like I'm not, it's business. It's always going to be business, but I'm not out here just trying to like rip people off. I'm being fair. So it's like, I charge this because, if you follow instructions and you do what you got to do, like there's never an opportunity for you not to make this money. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. I mean, I think to your point, right? The reality is I can stand on business with my pricing because I know that what I'm providing adds value.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that I charge, to your point, you're going to make way more than that if you actually listen and commit to the task and rise to the
Right.
occasion. And for that reason, I can stand on business.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I stand on business with that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, everybody's like a homie, somebody need favors.
Of course, listen, you always know who you're going to bend for. It's okay.
Yeah, but people come to me because they know, like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I need this money, and he's not going to charge me for, like, something that I'm not going to make money
for. Oh, another question I do have for you, though, is, okay, my name is Brenda, and I have no idea about this world of paid surveys and market research. And people keep saying how just take a survey. But my question as Brenda is, who the hell is even putting out these surveys and why do they need me to take them? That's a question that I think that a lot of people like don't answer. It's like, take the survey, it will pay you. But people sometimes think it's a scam because they don't understand who's asking you to take it and why it even matters to them. So explain to people who are listening, why are companies even putting out surveys to begin with?
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good question. So let me explain what paid surveys are and market research is. The short answer is all of these companies that we support, the Nike, the Zara, the Louis Vuitton, the Gucci, the Kohan, all the big name companies you think of that we shop, support, buy, repost, you name it, they all participate in market research. Market research is exactly that. Market research is companies researching the market that they're selling to. So what companies do is they hire research companies to find people like you and I to get their opinion on the products that they sell to make their products better. So let me put that in hood terms. Nike is going to create a survey and ask why Seth and Juju are not buying black Air Forces, right? They're going to put out that survey and they're going to be like, yo, listen, fill out this survey. Tell us why or why not you have been buying black Air Forces. We're going to pay you $100 for your time, obviously, because nobody's just going to fill it out just because. So they hire research companies to research us. So the research companies go out there, they put out surveys. They also like look for people like you and I to give their opinion on the clients that they're hired by. So then we'll fill out a survey that says, hey, we're not wearing black Air Forces because it's July, it's too hot for that. Or we're not wearing black Air Forces because it's just aggressive, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the reason. And obviously your opinion is never right or wrong. So the whole business model behind paid surveys is market research is these large multi-million-dollar companies that we all support and buy and shop with all the time, they hire research companies to look for people like you and I
Mm-hmm.
to get their opinion on products that they're selling. Now, the reason that they're able to pay you $100 is because our opinion and our feedback on their product is more valuable than $100. Because
105%.
right, so let's say a pair of black Air Forces is
Black nasty, excuse me.
black nasty. Excuse me. Let's say the black nasties is $100, right? They're gonna pay somebody like you and I $100 to give their opinion on how they can make black Air Forces better or how they can make the sales of black Air Forces better. They're gonna take that opinion and make way more than what they're paying us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really the simple business model behind it, and that's exactly what paid surveys and market research is. It's simply you getting hired by a research company to give your opinion on a product, service, commercial, ad, anything like that to make their product better, and they compensate you for your time. Period.
Okay.
Totally
So,
legal, been around for years. You can Google it, you can search it. That's pretty much what it is.
so my name is Brenda.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay.
I now know who is putting out these surveys. I now know why they're asking me to do these surveys. And I also know that I want to make money from doing these surveys. My next question to the experts in the survey world, like the Surveyplug founder, is where do I go to start getting money for these surveys? How do I find them?
Check out on my website. No, I'm messing with you. Nah. All right. So a couple of websites you can go to. Respondent. They're a big website that hosts a lot of paid surveys. User interviews. That's another website that hosts a lot of paid surveys. L&E Opinions. That's another website that hosts a lot of paid surveys. My course, we use about like 60 different websites, but those are like three that you can Google right now, and you can sign up and you can see actually the paid survey opportunities right on their website. You don't need to like be a professional. You don't need a resume. You don't even need I don't even think you need like a social security. You just need an email, a computer, and a phone, and you can go to those three websites and kind of see the kind of topics, money, and time commitment that they have for paid surveys. The reason that I mentioned time commitment is because, yeah, I know like on this call I've thrown out like a lot of different like dollar amounts and money that people have made, but I think one of the most important things about paid surveys is there isn't a lot of time commitment. As far as the actual paid survey, I would say it's a little tedious actually like applying and like doing your searches, but my course actually helps with that. But the good thing about paid surveys is you can get paid a good amount of money in a little bit amount of time.
Yeah.
I would say paid surveys pay on the low end, the ones that I teach people to find, $50 an hour. That's the low end. The higher end is like 75, 100, 125. I've seen people get paid $300 in an hour. I've been paid myself $275 for 2 hours. So I think that's about like, so like 130 something an hour to give their opinion on beverages or shaving products or watching a movie or like books or anything, you name it from A to Z. So I think the good thing about paid surveys is, you can make that money in less time. So I was having this conversation with my friend, and he actually started doing paid surveys in my program because he was doing a part-time job, and he was explaining like, like I like my part-time job, but like working my 9 to 5 and then having to come work 5 to 10 could be a little challenging and a little exhausting. I don't know what part-time jobs are paying these days, but let's say hypothetically speaking, part-time jobs nowadays are paying $30 an hour, right?
It's really giving more like 20 an hour.
So let's say 20. Let's just say 30 for conversation purposes. If you have a part-time job paying $30 an hour, cool. So let's say 30 an hour. So you give this part-time job 30, let's say 10 hours, right? So now you've made $300 in 10 hours, right? After Uncle Sam take his cut off the top, you might take home $225 or $2, whatever the case may be, right? So now you just got paid $225 for 10 hours of your time, right? Whereas paid surveys are paying $250 for an hour and a half, $300 for 3 hours, $275 for 2.5 hours. So the good thing about that is like you can make that same money in less time, which then will allow you to have your freedom back, which is most important to me. I don't know about everybody else, but also make more money from paid surveys or do something else.
I
So
want to come in there then.
yes, I've
You come
had
in
people
there.
make close to $1,500 and $2,000 in a month from paid surveys. You know what I'm saying?
So would you be one of those gurus who say quit your part-time job and make surveys your part-time job?
No. I'm not here to tell anybody to quit their job. I'm not here to tell anybody to quit their part-time job. I'm here to say you should always have multiple streams of income. Now, when one begins to generate more revenue than the other, which is how I got here, then you make your own decisions at that point. I'm not here to say, hey, quit your part-time job and do Surveyplug. That's not the message I'm promoting. No, not at all. No, not at all. I'm just saying, as we get older, and anybody listen to this will agree, time and money are one and the same.
Yeah.
So the whole goal is to make more money in less time. Like, people get it out the mud, work harder. Like, that's old. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, if you want that type of time, God bless you. Yeah, that's on you. But like, we all here to make money in less time, and you want to work harder, but you want to make more money with less effort. Like, you want to put ideas out, you want to do things that get your time back.
Absolutely.
Because money is cool, but money is like, how much is money if it takes all of your time?
Exactly. But also, I want to go back to the Brenda hat.
Okay.
You gave us 3 different websites out of 60 that we can go to for surveys.
Okay.
My name is Brenda, and I went to these websites, and I just feel like I just never get chosen for a survey. So my question to you would be, what am I supposed to be doing to attract a yes for a survey I applied for?
Okay. A couple of things. One, the main thing, and I even tell my students this, the main thing you have to do is fill out your profile on these sites as detailed as possible. These same research companies and these same websites will tell you the same thing, because the whole idea is the more details you put in your profile, that allows the research company to send you more survey opportunities to apply for.
And demographic details, meaning like women, male.
Yep. Demographic details, employment, interests. Do you have a car? Do you have kids? Do you have a computer? Do you have athletic seniors? Like, are you pregnant? Do you own a home? Like, every little detail. Sometimes people think like, oh, I don't want these people to have all this information. Like, I don't want to do this. But it allows the research company to give you more research opportunities. Because if you put that you have a car, when they have car surveys, then you'll get that invitation. And pro tip, car surveys pay more because the client is usually a car company. So if you doing a car survey and I'm doing a clothing survey, Toyota could probably pay you more than H&M could pay me for their survey. You know what I'm saying? So, right. So, you always want to make sure you filling out your profile and adding the most details possible in your profile. Now, as far as getting selected, I would say, one, be truthful as best as you can to a degree, because they're always looking for people with experience in the particular topic. Like, sometimes people try to like go out of their way to finesse studies, and it just doesn't work, and they wind up not getting picked, because these research companies are always looking for people with like background or user experience in the topic. So, for example, let's say Apple is doing a survey. They may want people with MacBooks.
Yeah.
If I fill out a survey and I've never had a MacBook, or I don't know how to use a MacBook, I'm going to fudge. Like, I'm not going to know how to fill out a survey. So always fill out your profile as best as you can with as many details as possible to who you are, and then fill out surveys pertaining to the invites that you get on who you are. So like, I wear athletic wear in my profile, and you start getting surveys on sneakers, be honest about the sneakers you wear, because you don't always know like the questions that they're trying to ask. I mean, the people that they're trying to look for. Like they might be looking for people who don't wear black Air Forces. They might be
Yeah.
looking for people who do wear black Air Forces. So be truthful for that. So those are the two main things. And I also created like a workbook, a guide, like explaining how to answer questions and provide how to provide more detail and different strategies and tips on one how to apply in volume and how to apply intentionally to get picked. So I have a workbook for that as well too. But I would say those are the two main things that you really need to do to just at least get your feet wet in the survey world and applying the surveys that you qualify for.
That was fire. So we got through a couple of things. We got through number one, who is Seth? We got through what the Surveyplug actually is. We got into the pros and cons of the paid survey market research industry. We gotten through, honestly, like the pathway to even becoming an entrepreneur. That's also very important. On a more consumer end, we talked about what does it even look like for me to even engage in trying to buy a course like the Surveyplug's course, or going out there and finding these websites to create a profile for, and what needs to be in my profile, et cetera, et cetera. So my final wrap-up question to you is, and you kind of said this before, but I feel like someone needs to hear this more directly. If I want to be like a Seth and I want to build a business around paid surveys, what should my business model be? Like, how am I supposed to make money in this space outside of me directly taking the survey?
My business model is just, to be honest, getting people results. Like I show people the websites, I show people where to go on the websites, I show people how to apply on the websites, and I show people how to apply in volume through multiple different websites so you have more opportunities to make money. So that's really my business model. Like I don't make money from the research companies. I don't make commission from my students. I don't even have a monthly course. I simply have materials that are valuable and people see the results and they want those same results. So they purchase my course. So that's really my business model. But generally speaking, if you wanted to start a course, and I'll be honest, I'm not the first person to start a paid survey course. Like I did my competitor research and I figured out what everybody else is doing. I just did it better because a good part of my program is because I use so many websites and I understand that can be tedious. Again, I'm all about problem solving. So I realized I'm like, okay, when I did my competitive research, everybody's just emailing me a list of paid survey sites and they're like, all right, sign up on these websites. So what I did was I was like, okay, that is time consuming. Simple math. If I email you a list of 60 websites, let's say each of them takes 5 minutes to sign up for. That's like 5 hours of your time. The good thing about my program is because I have a 3-day jumpstart program, which basically means that after purchase, you fill out a Google form and I put your information on the websites and email you your logins and passwords. So you're already hitting the ground running. So instead of you buying a course and it's like, oh man, I just paid this money and I got to do more work. No problem. Join my group chat. I'll do it for you. You got to do these handful of websites and then you're hitting the ground running, which is why a lot of people in my program make money faster sooner than later because that if I email you a list of 50, 60 websites and I tell you to do it, you're probably going to drag your feet. Like, oh, I'll get to it this weekend. Then I got to sign up on all these sites. Some people do it, but it's just like if I just say fill out this form and I do it for you, that's much easier for people.
Much easier. Okay, that was fire. That's fire. So before we move into the flash round, is there anything else you want to share about your journey, about Surveyplug, about market research? Is there anything else that we need to know about this space?
Well, my journey, one thing I will say, and this is to like any entrepreneur or anybody who's thinking about starting any business, one, don't overthink it. A lot of people overthink it. Don't overthink it. Again, I started my business with no website. Like I was straight LLC and vibes. Hit me up. You know what I mean? Like I'm on multiple podcasts talking about it too. Like that's my journey. You know what I'm saying? Don't overthink it. Two, again, think of 3 things that you can master or you can do in your sleep without anybody's help or any assistance. Any 3 things. It could be anything. Like they have courses on how to be a doula. They have courses on how to make YouTube videos. Like they have courses on like how to clean sneakers. Like anything. If you're sitting on, if you're watching this video and you're sitting on any skill set that you can do in your sleep, you should probably pick one and teach it to people.
Yeah.
Because one of those 3 is probably a problem for someone else that you can monetize. I happen to fall into, well, I'm not going to say fall into it, but I happen to come into a place where at the time when I started my business, and layoffs were crazy. They still kind of crazy now, but like
Yeah.
22 people were like, yo, I need extra money. Like I need like layoffs, kids, like it's always something like people needed extra money from a source that, like you don't got to start a business. Like you don't got to get hired. You don't got to do anything. You just need a phone and a computer. Like, so that's how I was able to provide that solution to people. So really, really any business that is solution oriented or is a problem solver for people will always be successful.
That was
Always.
fire.
Always.
That was good. That was good. Well, y'all heard it here first from Seth the God. Let me stop. That'll be a fire ass rap name. Anyway, y'all heard it here first. The Surveyplug, key, all that good stuff. But we're gonna wind it down a little bit as we're getting towards the end of this episode. As you all know, we have like this flash round, and Seth, I get to ask you a bunch of miscellaneous questions about honestly, God knows what. And it's sadly not going to be about the Surveyplug because it's always going to talk more about the Surveyplug. But this time, it's just
my stories ain't about the Surveyplug a lot.
And that's why.
Know how I give it up.
And first of all, knowing who he is, that is the reason why I have a very particular question in here that I probably wouldn't ask anybody else, but I gotta ask him because he's mad funny. All right, let me chill out. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
All right.
Spill them.
The first question, which is a curveball, is for people in their 20s who want to be entrepreneurs, what advice do you have for them?
Start now. Simple. Start now. And just start. Because one thing I would tell you about starting is, and I think I told you this the other day too.
You sure did.
One thing I'll tell you about starting, if you start, you already ahead of 50% of the people. Just start. Just start. And trust me, and I will tell you this as well. 1, just start. And 2, learn from people who've done it already.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be the same business model. Doesn't have to be the same exact skill set. But, business concepts, a lot of things like are not like, they're not hard and they're also universal. So if you want to be a nail tech or you want to do surveys, you still got to open an LLC. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just like something that is not going to change. So 1, start now. 2, learn from people who did it already. And the key with learning from people already is there's a joke that I always say is that people don't start businesses because they don't know, which is so funny because you're going to start and still not know. So you might as well start.
Literally, like you don't have all the answers. Like you have to find the answers as you go.
I've been doing this a year and a half and I have a business coach. Like I'm still learning, you know what I'm saying? So like 1, start. 2, learn from people who did it already. Like you don't have to like be on Google and YouTube. If you want to do it, then cool. You know what I'm saying? But like business coaches, career coaches, like, learn from people who did it already. Like I've never had a business. Like I'm learning email marketing. Like I just got to learn it. You know what I'm saying? So start. 1 and 2, learn from people who did it already. Don't be scared to hire a business coach. Don't be scared to learn from your peers. Just because they have different businesses doesn't mean that they can't teach you like a tool that could be beneficial to whatever idea you're working.
That was really good. Okay. Next question. You ready?
Yep.
Music, hip hop or R&B? Which one do you prefer?
Hip hop.
Artist, Sexy Red or Cardi B?
Probably Sexy Red these days. She got the streets on fire right now.
I knew you were gonna say that.
She got the streets on fire right now. As soon as I hang up this call,
you're gonna go put some Sexy Red.
Bow, bow.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it is that Sexy got, but everybody is really, men and women are all feeling Sexy Red right now. And you know what? I'm not even mad at it because I'm a fan.
You know what's funny? And you know what's funny? And I'm going to ask you this because you probably know. If you don't know the exact time, but you got a guesstimate. How long Sexy Red been hot in the streets right now?
I'm not going to lie. Maybe for the past year?
Year and a half? Maybe 2 max. Right? You know Sexy Red was doing hair before this?
I did not know that.
Right. Sexy Red was doing hair 2 years ago.
And
She was,
now she's on
yes.
multiple stages and selling out stadiums. And you know why? Because to your point about doing things in your 20s, you should just start.
Just start.
That's the answer.
If you start something in your 20s, by the time you hit 30, if you have an established business by 30, you're doing real good.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually had no idea that was her story. That's crazy. I mean, I never thought about it either, but like now that I am, I think it's really cool because it's like I think a lot of times we see people for where they are, not where they used to be, and that part of the story does matter.
That and you know that part of the story is what matters most to me because when I watch like interviews and I watch like podcasts, I'm always watching them to see where people started. Another person
Absolutely.
that I was watching an interview on, Keith Lee, who does the food reviews.
A
Keith
fighter.
Lee, yes, Keith Lee was an MMA fighter like 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And now look, he's at the BET Awards. Getting
You just
mistaken
gotta
by
start.
Taraji, but it's okay though. We don't shine light on that.
Yeah. We're not gonna shine light on that. We got shine light, but he started. The point is, he started. He started.
And that's all.
Yeah.
And that's the common denominator. Because most people who are successful at something, it's not always because they started with that thing. They probably started with something else, and all they needed was to do it was tell themselves yes, and
Yep.
that was enough for them to be where they are today. And I think that's a very important lesson. Which is why I like that little flash round. 'Cause I feel like even though it sounds key, there's always something of substance that comes out of it.
Oh
And
yeah, for
once
sure.
again, like whether it's Sexy or Cardi, both of them have an origin story, and
Yeah.
that matters, right? But the
Yeah,
reality is they're also winning right now.
I think Cardi was like a dancer, and Cardi used to be on the Love and Hip Hop. Like, yeah,
She sure was.
right. You just got to start. You just got to start. Most
And that's
people
all that
won't start.
matters.
So if you start, you 50% ahead of most people.
And I want to be a part of the 50%. That part is important to me. All right,
Very
next
important.
question. Let's talk about nostalgia. 90s fashion or 2000s fashion?
I'm gonna say 90s. I'm old, so I'm gonna say
Why?
90s. Listen, Air Max 95s. That time
Okay.
period, that was classic times. You know what I'm saying? Like that was classic times. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
and I'm more like old Jordans, like old retros, like Air Max, like those old sneakers. That's
You
more
got a
my.
picture for me?
Nah, I ain't got no picture right now.
I want to see something in the 90s. That's what I want to see.
Nah. I can find a picture. It
I
might
want to
be
see
in
something in the 2000s jersey.
it might be in low definition, but I can pull something up. You know what I'm saying?
So if you pull that up, I'm absolutely posting that to market this episode.
Okay, I might be able to pull something up.
Listen, let me know if you got that. All right. Next question for the flash round. A little bit more sentimental. Who or what inspires you to keep doing what you're doing?
Ooh. Who or what inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing? I would say, I mean, not to sound naive, but I would say myself. I'm only saying
Oh, that's
myself because I'm
fair.
the first business owner in my family. Um, the first business owner in my family, one and two. This now business that was a side hustle, like for me, was something that I learned from my mom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like now that my mom is not working, I take care of my mother. Like I pay my mother's mortgage off a side hustle that she taught me. So you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Like that does it for me. You know what I mean? Like so taking care of my family when I can, and just being the first entrepreneur in my family. Like I never thought I'd see the day where I'm like making like podcast appearances and like reaching out to people, and people reaching out to me from all over like the US. I got an email from someone in Pakistan like the other day. Unfortunately I couldn't help them, but like people reaching out to me all over. Like I never thought like be a teacher or online course. Like I never thought that I would have that. So
But
and
now you're
also
that
my fellow I have some real serious like fellow entrepreneurs that I looked up to. So I don't know if you know the game Lyrically Correct.
guy. Yes. Oh my God. I
Yeah,
met him at, it was a group of them, right? I think it's like four of
yeah.
them.
It's Dante, his wife, Tiffany, Jules, and his wife. Yeah, so I look up to them as well because like those are like people from Harlem that I've known since I probably known them like over 20 years. Like know their
Wow.
family and all that. Like and they started that game lyrically correct, and they got their cards in Target, like, and those are like people from the east side of Harlem. Like, they
Yep.
don't come from money. Like, Dante went to New Paul's, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are like people who just like had an idea and ran with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like, to like go from that and to have like your product in Target, like that's inspiring to me. The Harchimony, like him and his wife paid off $124,000 worth of debt in 24 months from starting a cleaning business.
Damn.
And I went to school with him. You know what I mean? Like, I went to school with him. Like he don't come from money. He don't come from like nothing. Like, and now he's like a full millionaire and been on Good Morning America and been on like
Wow.
multiple different platforms, all from starting a cleaning business. And now he teaches people like how to start cleaning business and also how to like start businesses. So like
Yeah.
people like that I know that don't come from like nothing, and now they're like on top and their product is everywhere. Like, those are people that inspire me outside of myself.
That was actually well, a couple of things. Like, one, I like how you were able to give yourself your props, but in the same answer, even though it led with you, it still ended up leading to a bunch of other people who, in my opinion, they all helped you become this version of yourself that you're very proud of. So in the end of it all, the person who inspires you is you, but you also collectively are inspired by people who told you like this is who you can be because you told me you want to be this person, and now you're able to take that, build something. The results is whatever you wanted it to be. And you take care of your mother. Like, that's OD.
Yeah,
Like, who doesn't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
make it to the point that they can help provide for their parents? I think that even more so in our community, we feel like the only way to provide for our family is through music, is through sports.
Nah.
And you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
everyone's parent isn't going to get the 10-room mansion, but if you can at least take care of the version of life that they have now, that is a big deal. And I promise our
Yeah.
parents are going to be grateful for that, and you're living and you're doing that. That to me
Yeah,
is
I'm
empowering.
able to spend time with my mom whenever I want, like whenever if she needs something within reason, like, you know. I mean, I did go through that phase where she's like, "Oh, your business is growing. Can I buy this?" And I'm like, "Nah, you wild."
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
give me a second, Ma. Like, wait. But now you're there and you can do those things. That's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing. It shows us that, like, there's no one particular way to provide for our families and for ourselves. There are a variety of ways. The issue is we just haven't been able to find out what those ways are. But that's where HuCapital comes in and this podcast. So anyway, let me stop it. But all in all, Seth, I really appreciate you. Thank you for just like really dropping gems about the Surveyplug, giving us insight into what the industry entails. I've been wanting to have Seth on this podcast for mad long, but I baited until now, and here we are. And I think if there's one thing over everything else that I want everybody to leave with is there are different ways to make supplemental income. It is your duty to be on the out and listening and determine what is the thing that you want to do to make that income, and you have to double down and do the work on your learnings. You cannot just critique people and say, hey, I paid something and I got nothing out of it. You have to evaluate yourself and your contribution to what you paid for and say, hey, listen, what I learned is substantial and informative, but my effort and my portion into this thing is being done as well. And now I'm seeing the results that I'm looking for. So it's finding the thing that's going to make you income. It's actually listening and learning, and then it's executing. That's what's going to give you the result. To me, that is the overarching formula. And I didn't make that up myself. That's pretty much what I got from Seth today. So shout out to you, Seth.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate you having me. I'm, obviously, if you want to make money from paid surveys, you could follow me, the Surveyplug, on Instagram, thesurveyplug.com. But the most important messages is like, listen, like, none of these jobs is promised. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
None of these jobs is promised. Nothing is promised. But one thing you could say is that, you start any business, start any idea, or start any concept, it's you versus you every day. And there's the best thing about business is, I think I didn't mention this before, but the best thing about business is like there's no ceiling. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing that you could be like, oh, like I can't do this, or I can't make this amount, or I can't charge this. Like
Yeah.
there's never oh, I don't have the experience for this. Like it's about you going out there, learning, adjusting, making adjustments on the fly, solving problems, and just keep going and not quit.
That was great. Well, on that note, I hate to send us off this way, but it's so hard to say goodbye. Bye, everyone.